Welcome to Are They or Were They Ever a Star? We are live on Twitch and YouTube, and we're talking about Mr. Ryan Gosling.
That's correct.
You haven't
Alex.
heard of the dead celebrity? And I put the wrong one in. There you go.
Look at you.
Out for the
Eagle has landed.
for the what?
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Yeah, fuck that guy. All right.
Hey,
Hey, what's up?
Ryan Gosling, eh?
What do you think of this guy? He's Canadian. You're Canadian.
I
You have a
work with
connection?
him. Yeah, I have
You
two
work
connections.
with him?
Yeah, I
Or
work with him on Goosebumps.
You worked with him on Goosebumps.
I mean, I
doesn't-
was a PA, production
Oh.
assistant. Yeah, but he was on.
So was he good looking back then too?
I don't really remember, but then my sister was friends with him.
Huh?
Yeah, he was like in that show Hercules, Young
Yep.
Hercules.
Yep. Yeah, I just saw something.
And my sister met him, like she worked at Club Med, and she met him, and then they were friends for like a bit.
Really?
like,
Like
yeah,
friends like she works there and he works and he's there, and the two of them like exchange like, hey, such and such his name, right?
Yeah,
They know
yeah,
each
yeah,
other's name.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you ever been to Club Med, I mean, I used to work there too. It's sort of like you could become best friends with somebody in a week because you only have a week, right?
Right.
So like you could be hanging out with them like every day. So
Huh.
yeah, so I remember that.
I like
And she might have kept in touch with him like a little bit after too.
Sure, like especially if he's not a big time celebrity at this point, like he's a normal dude.
No,
you know,
he's a normal. Yeah. Well, he was in that Young Hercules show, and they did 50 episodes. So I
they
mean,
did 50 episodes.
yeah, it's a lot of episodes, right?
I thought it was just a flashback. Well, let's talk about it, right?
Well, that was sort of like he was a kid actor, right? Because what
Yep.
year was he born?
Um,
I want to say like 1980, right? He's born in 1980, so he's on like the first show he did was Are You Afraid of the Dark in 95. So he's 15. Right. Then he did Goosebumps. That's when I worked on that show with him, which was 96.
so he's really just a kid at this point.
Yeah, he's like 15, 16 at that point, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And you see, he's like when he starts out, he's not a star at this point. He's just doing a lot of Canadian TV shows like Sci Factor, Flash Forward. I don't know what that is. Is that Canadian?
Where do you see Flash Forward? How far is that up the list?
Oh, it's not very far.
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, 97.
Maybe that's I don't know that one.
So are you in the credits as Goosebumps?
I don't know. I was a PA. I've never looked. I mean, I don't know if they have production assistants, but
They do deep in there. You got to really.
I'm not in there under my name, like my proper credits now.
Yeah.
Because I worked on a lot of stuff from like 93 to I was like a grip and electric and a PA and all these things like on sets. But I don't know if I ever I worked on X-Men, the first one, but as a grip, but I don't think I'm in the credits. Because I worked I worked as like a daily, it's called. Anyways, we don't need to get into Mate, but let's figure this out. Okay, so where's his like first big break, like his first big movie?
Well, hold on. That's
Is it The Notebook?
Wow,
I think it's The Notebook.
You're right. There is 50 episodes of Young Hercules. Well, so he's in Remember the Titans. I didn't know that.
But that's probably like he's probably just there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's a big movie, yes. But
it's a big movie.
But I don't think he's like a lead.
No, but it's a big enough movie to kind of put him on the radar.
Yeah, the radar, definitely. Yeah.
Especially if he had, I don't remember him. And I want to look at some of these. Do you know anything about any of these besides Goosebumps, Kung Fu, The Legend?
No, they're all just TV shows. I think they're all just Canadian TV shows.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at what's it called? Like the Titans one. He's not even in like the main credits.
But he does 44 episodes of Breaker High. That's a lot.
Oh yeah, he does Breaker High too. Yeah. But that's another like Canadian show, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think but that one's not like a Degrassi where people have seen it. Like I'm sure some people might have saw it, but it that wasn't a big show.
No, but he's making a living.
He's a lead, yeah.
And he's making a living on Breaker High and then followed by Young Hercules. So he's no longer a starving artist. Like one episode, 2 episodes.
No, he's 18 and he's already got a lead in the show.
Right.
And then he's in
right,
Young Hercules, right? So he's 18 and he's in Young Hercules and Breaker High, 17, 18. So yeah,
right.
he's doing fantastic, really,
Yeah.
in a sense, right? Like, yeah, he's
Right.
not a big star, but he's definitely probably at this point has like $1 million or two.
Well, yeah. And how does, how do you like you look at child actors and some of them fall off the map, and how does he stay? Because he just keeps getting
Well,
better looking.
I don't think he was a child actor so much. Like, yes, he started at 15 and 16, but he's not like a 12-year-old or 10-year-old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not a 10-year-old. He's pretty much a young actor, right?
Right.
Anyways, yeah.
Okay.
And so yeah, and then so he does. You remember the Titans? You're right. The Believer. I don't know what that is,
No
but he's the
idea.
lead of that. A young man. Oh, I remember this. A young man develops a fiercely anti-Semitic philosophy based on the factual story as a KKK member who is revealed to be Jewish. Yeah, he's like a Jew who hates Jews. I remember that movie. Oh, it won like awards.
It's rated fairly high on here too. At 7.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, so 2003, I don't know the award, CFCA.
this is the year we meet. Is 2003.
Right. It was such a great moment. The year of what's his face?
Don't ever forget it. And guess who's in this movie too?
Who?
None other than Billy Zane.
Oh, nice. Your favorite.
I do.
I actually, and I think this is the year too. He had a house in Los Angeles, and I had a friend because I worked in Canadian Idol, who's the winner of Canadian Idol, who's friends with him, and he was in LA staying at that house, and I went over there. He wasn't there.
He wasn't. They just let people in the house. Was this one of the parties?
No, it wasn't a party. He like lived there with his co-star from Breaker High, the bigger guy. Yeah, I forget his name. He was there. He's a nice guy.
Is he still working? This bigger guy?
Yeah, he's like in a lot of stuff. It's just like he's been given so
he?
many chances, but he just doesn't. He's really good at stuff he does. He just never sort of like, I don't know. His stuff hasn't really worked. It's a Breaker High. He's kind of like the goofball on Breaker High. His friend.
I'm gonna look right now. Is it Tyler Labine?
Yeah, Tyler Labine. Yeah.
Tyler Labine. I think this guy does some stuff though.
He does do a lot of stuff. Yeah, he's been given a lot of chances. Like if you look at his credits, like he does a show called Ghost, which is one of my favorite shows. I love that show. Yeah. It's so silly. It's got Danny DeVito's daughter in it. But he's gotten a lot of chances. It's just he's never really like become a marquee player. Like that's interesting because he's done great stuff and he's really funny and he's good in everything. He's even in like a demon one where he's like a demon hunter, which is great. I
feel like before the show we talked about him.
Yeah. Anyways,
and he's Dale and
yeah,
Dale.
Yeah,
that's good. Interesting.
All right, so Ryan Gosling, back to him.
Yeah. Well, this is good.
So then we are at So then I don't. So that movie was that was critically acclaimed. The Believer. Then Slaughter Rules. I don't know that at all.
No.
A young man finds solace with a young woman, his mother, and a high school coach who recruits him to quarterback a team. So,
do you have budget on this movie?
This movie's probably a low budget one, but he's the lead again, right? He's the lead. He was in another movie where he's an anti-Semitic Jew, and now I'm looking for the budget. My internet's really slow today for some reason.
Well, he's
$500,000 budget.
Okay,
made $13,000.
Ooh, ouch!
But it could be like a Canadian movie. I've never heard of it.
Oh, Amy Adams is in this. So is David Morse. Pretty good cast around him.
Yeah, and like I'm saying, like he's leading these movies, right? And then the Murder by Numbers. I don't know that one either.
I do know. I think this is. Let's look this guy up. Murder by Numbers. I think.
Barbette Schroeder, yeah, and Sandra Bullock. So this is a big movie too.
This is a big movie. Yep.
Yeah, and he's third billed, right? So.
Right. How does this movie do?
This movie, well, I mean, it's basically a good thing to be in, right? Like even if it doesn't do well because he's not carrying it. But the budget's $50 million, so it's a bigger movie.
Whoa, yeah.
And it grossed worldwide 56, so it didn't make any money. But it's a big movie, right? And it's like Barbette Schroeder is a famous director.
Okay, and Chris Penn's in it.
Like a famous like auteur director, like someone who's done stuff that's like considered classics and shit. Like that's like a good person to work with to learn stuff. about the craft, I would imagine.
But he gets to know Sandra Bullock during this
He
too.
got to go to Sandra Bullock. Didn't he date her for a bit? I feel like he
He
did.
may have. They're pretty different in age, though.
Yeah,
So,
but whatever, right?
the United States of Leland. I feel like this is a movie we cast, and he is the very depressed lead in here too.
Right.
Don Cheadle, Chris Klein, when Chris Klein is still somebody, Kevin
Right.
Spacey, Jenna Malone, wow, Michelle Williams, Kerry
Yeah.
Washington,
Yeah, that's a big movie.
Michael Pena.
Michael Pena.
This goes on. I think there's a. Yeah, it's. I don't know anything about this movie.
Me neither. Then the next one is the big one, The Notebook.
And it's filmed right where I live here in Charleston, South Carolina. And
The
I'm
Notebook?
not here at the time, though. I'm in LA with you.
Are you talking about The Notebook?
Yeah, I'm talking about The Notebook, yeah.
So that's
And
a big, but that's a big movie. Like that puts him on the map, right? Like this is like now he's like all the women know him because the women love this movie, right? So it's like he becomes like a big star. Yeah. So he's
every
like,
woman is crying.
yeah, they love this movie. That's his. So basically, 2004, he's a star, and so he started in '95. So it's taken him 9 years, but it's not been, you know what I mean? It's been a pretty good ride.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so he's definitely a movie star at this point from that movie. But now it's like, okay, what's he going to do to follow up to do something big, right?
Well, hold on real quick. I just want to talk a little bit about Notebook. I found this.
Okay.
This trivia was a little interesting. Gosling prepared for his role by living in Charleston before filming began. For 2 months, he rode the Ashley River every morning and built furniture during the day. Wow, that's taken a little too far, isn't it?
Well, not really, though. When you think about it, like you've got millions of dollars, you're preparing for a role that you're going to be paid millions of dollars. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's good to get it. You have the ability to do that, right? Because you're that's part of what you're getting paid to do.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. So The Notebook deleted scenes. I'm Still Here. Real Diaries of Young People Who Lived During the Holocaust. TV. Oh, he just does a voice.
His voice. So Stay is his next movie after.
I don't know anything about Stay. I do know Half Nelson.
It's got Ewan McGregor, who's the star, Naomi Watts, and Ryan Gosling. Right. So he's not the main guy in this.
Bob Hoskins.
And so hold on, let me just look at how much this movie costs. This was a $50 million movie and it made $8 million. So this is a bomb. But I'd say, like, if you look at Stay, right? What's it called of that? Stay? My internet is so slow today. David Benioff, that's the guy who did he wrote it. He's the guy who did the movie about the dragons, the TV show about the dragons. Everyone loves.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he's Game of Thrones guy. Yeah, so but that movie comes out in 2005, and The Notebook's 2004. So I mean, you could argue that maybe they were made in the same time, kind of thing. So that's not. So Half Nelson is definitely probably his next big role he's coming. Yeah, and it's well rated.
Yeah, it's a very entertaining movie. He does great. He's great in it, and he is the dandy. And this is the time, like I said, we're in LA, so like I'm part of the international independent filmmakers, and this movie, all these independent films pop up. And I remember Half Nelson popping up, and then you could go see back then. I don't know if you can anymore, but you could go see the director talk about it. You know,
right? Yeah. But they always say the same thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I found it really interesting. I had one of the editors from somebody find me a colorist for my movie, and it was a Academy Award winning editor, and he's like, "Yeah, give me your name, and I'll email you some people." So, and I gave him a special thanks.
Well, this movie Half Nelson cost only $700,000, and it made $4.5 million. So that's a success, right? Even if it didn't make money, it would be fine.
Right.
So, but that's okay. So, but that's not like a big budget movie like that. He's in The Notebook. What is Fracture a big budget movie?
I think it is. It's got
Anthony Hopkins so Anthony Hopkins and Ryan Gosling are the
I bet you're going to see about a $15 to $20 million budget.
It could be 50 with Anthony Hopkins in it. Let's see.
David Strahan.
It's a $39 million.
Ooh, see?
No, wait, sorry. These are gross. It makes 92 million, but I don't have the budget here.
That's amazing for a movie I've never heard of.
Yeah. Well, it's got big stars, right? So that's a big movie. It probably cost 30, 20, 40,
Sure.
I don't know. So that movie did well or did make some money. So he's
Well rated too.
Yeah,
72.
well rated. Then Lars and the Real Girl. I never saw this, but I heard
Yeah, funny.
People
It's
really
a
like
funny-
this movie,
Yeah,
right?
it's a funny, cute movie.
And it's also very quirky. So he's like, okay, I'm a handsome dude, but I don't just play handsome dude roles. Right? I'm not just like the next guy to be like, oh, look at me, I'm the next handsome man, Dr. Handsome Man. But this movie's cost 12 million and it only grosses 11 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it showcases his talent.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. He hasn't had like a big movie after what's it called?
After
The Notebook.
The Notebook. Yeah, he's doing some independent stuff. Mostly, that's where I bet you what he's saying is I'm going to take really good roles to show what I got, and then go after the money once.
Yeah,
I think
could be.
I don't know. I'm guessing, but so Lars and the Real Girl and Half Nelson are both little independents that do well.
Yeah,
well enough. Blue Valentine.
So this one I have never heard of. It cost $1 million. So again, low budget. You're right, but this one makes 15 million.
Oh, nice.
So that's like a huge return, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Bowman from The Wire. Michelle Williams. He's teamed up again with.
Which one are you talking about now?
Just looking at the one we just mentioned.
Oh, I All Good Things. That's his. I feel like Drive is the first big movie he did.
Well, All Good Things, this is during the time when we're still renting videos. Yeah. And I remember seeing this box at every single video. And I'm like, should I get this? Should I rent this? I feel like I should. And I never did. Is Ashton Kutcher in it too?
Well, you know what's I can't see him.
Kirsten Dunst, Frank
Langella. But you know what's interesting about this too is it's like here's what it's about, right? Here's what it's a boot. It's a boot this where I just saw that. David Marks, I guess that's him because he's the lead. A real estate scion is suspected of killing his wife Katie, who disappeared in 1982. Oh, I wonder if this is like the story of that guy who murdered his wife in like 1980, and they did a documentary on him.
Huh.
Anyways, I forget, but it's interesting because he's not doing other romantic comedies or like Notebook stuff. Like that doesn't sound like a Notebook. This sounds like a murder, like a thriller.
Yeah.
So he's not even like touching where he his core thing.
The closest thing is Lars and the New Girl to a romantic comedy.
But that's such a quirky movie. Yeah,
it's not. So
okay, so he's a star, but he's not a big star at this point. He's there, right?
I think Drive comes out and helps.
Drive, but again, Drive is like a weird movie too. Like people love it, and I don't think he talks in this movie, or he has like 5 words or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But people do love this movie. Like
Bryan Cranston, Albert Brooks, Oscar Isaac, Ron Perlman. Just love seeing how so.
So this one movie costs 15 million and it makes 78.
Oh,
so again, this is another he's a great actor in a sense because it's like he can take these lower risk. He's got enough brand recognition and the movies are seeming to make money.
Right.
So Drive is sorry.
Go ahead. Nope, you go ahead.
No, I got nothing. I was just going to read.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't think he's a legitimate star yet. He's a heartthrob.
Yeah,
but he's not.
No, I'm trying to I kind of feel like it's still a while before he becomes like a star.
Yeah,
or a peak, right?
Well, let's take a look at the Ides of March, which I enjoyed, and up with George Clooney.
Right. Is he on the cover there?
Another
yes,
great
he is.
Yeah, him and Clooney.
Oh, him and Clooney. Okay, so this is like
Marissa Tomei, Paul Giamatti, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Evan Rachel Wood, Jeffrey Wright.
Is this before Seymour Hoffman's dead or after?
I think before. Well, it's obviously
I'm kidding.
not because he did it This is body.
Well, okay, this one again. This has cost 13 million. It made 76.
How do you make a movie with that? Nowadays seems like it impossible with that cast to make a movie for
May-
13 million.
Maybe
Right?
it's well, George Clooney directed it.
Oh, so
Could be his
he
first, and
Clooney,
maybe it's
yeah,
his production company, so he took like a back end deal as opposed to
yeah.
front end.
Clooney doesn't take any money. That's the only way you can do that. And it doesn't look like Ryan Gosling is all that greedy because he's doing $1 million films,
Yeah.
$700,000 films.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, so he does a little drunk history on Comedy
Yeah.
Central. The Place Beyond the Pines. I've seen this cover. I have seen this movie. It's actually very interesting, but it's been so long.
Yeah. Never saw this one either. This looks like kind of a bigger budget film that was supposed to do well. Let's see how it did. So, oh no, it's only 15 million and it made 47.
Gee,
So again, a lower budget. So he hasn't really done a big budget thing at this point.
no.
Okay, so Gangster Squad. I never heard of that. Have you? Sean
Yeah,
Penn is the star.
I did see this movie
Sean
too.
Penn is the star of this one. He's second billing to Sean Penn. And this movie, okay, this is an expensive movie. This cost 60 million and it made 105.
Yeah, Josh Brolin, Ribisi.
Yeah. So that's a pretty
$1 million and made 105.
Yeah. So
This feels like that he is not doing anything. He is not typecast at all, and that's what I got to give him credit for up into 2012 is how he picks such different roles. Good for him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like nothing is even close to the same. We're what? Almost 10 years away from The Notebook, and he still hasn't touched anything like it.
No. And then he does this movie Only God Forgives, which again costs 4 million, 4.8, so 5 million, and it makes 10 million. So I mean, again, not horrible, but this guy could do bigger movies, and he's not.
And he's just picking on acting, and he must manage his money really well, or he doesn't need much, right? Because he's not being greedy. He's picking good roles. It looks like. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't see this movie. But,
well, even the what's it called? The house that I went to that he owned or he rented, he owned it.
Oh, he did.
It was just it was like a house that anyone would have in like, the valley. Like it wasn't like, oh my God, look at this house. Like I stayed at what's it called? Like Ben Affleck's house once. And that was like,
was that with Soren?
Yeah, that was a mansion, right? That was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Ben Affleck wasn't there, but but I'm saying like that was like, wow, you're like, this is the house.
It's so ridiculous. I think if I had all this money, I wouldn't just let random people stay at my place without me being there. But
I think it's like when you have more than one house, like you don't care, right? Like this was just a house that he had.
Yes, and if you've got cleaning people, and you just it's always just ready for you.
You're just sitting, it's just sitting there.
All right, so we are entering the mid 2000s, and I think you're going to see hit after hit after hit after hit. I think The Big Short is critically acclaimed.
Yeah,
a great ensemble cast.
Yes. But again, he's not the lead of that.
No,
he's just part of it, right?
But look at who he surrounds himself with.
Yeah. And this makes movie 28 million to make and 133 gross, so it does really well. The Big Short, and then The Nice Guys. I've never heard of this one.
Yeah, they actually think they made it part 2. I don't. No, they didn't. I saw this movie. It's good. It's entertaining. It's a fun gangster flick. Again, there is no character that's the same. He has not touched anything that is the same. I wonder if he says, if I already did it, don't touch me,
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me there.
And this one costs 50 and makes 62, so not such a big movie. Right. The Nice Guys Detective Age, that's a short. Oh, The Nice Guys Detective, that's just part of that. Okay, then he does La La Land in 2016. That one's That one's like an Oscar and shit. So now he's a movie star. Did he win an Oscar for that, or was he nominated? I remember it won 6 Oscars. Right.
Won 6 Oscars and nothing's going on. It's just hanging out. I don't know. Good question.
Let's see. Best performance in a lead. He was nominated.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, so he gets nominated, right? So yeah, so now he's got his thing.
And it really is. It's a good movie. It's entertaining. So, song. Go ahead.
Does he talk in it, or is it another?
Yeah.
There's
he sings. There's talking. It's a really touching movie about 2 people who fall in love but don't stay together. Spoiler alert.
Right.
So,
well,
song to song.
So wait, so now he's a big star in 2016.
Yes.
So it was like he started in 95, had his first like big movie, Notebook, in 2004. So that was 9 years, and now it's 2016. So it's another 10 or 12 years, and now he's a big star. I think he's a star.
Yeah, he's a star.
Song to song, I don't know what that is.
Me neither, but it is loaded. Gosling, Rooney Mara. I don't know.
Oh, and this is a Terrence Malick film, so that's like
Okay.
someone who's another famous director, and he's the lead of this one.
Right.
I've never heard of this one, but let's see.
Portman, Holly Hunter, Val Kilmer, Michael Fassbender.
This movie only grosses 1.8 million. So this was a bomb, I would imagine. And Terrence Malick's films are, I don't know, I find them strange. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Then he does Blade Runner, which is just the fact that he got offered the lead in Blade Runner is,
right.
At that point, okay, he's, and I don't know how this movie did, but this has got its own thing, right? Like it's its own world. What does this movie? Okay, it cost 150 million.
Yes.
So now he's in a big budget movie. It made 267. So not great.
Okay. Yeah. It did okay.
Yeah.
I think it did better on video or streaming or whatever was going on at the time.
Then he does The First Man. I've never even heard of this one.
Oh yeah, it's about him going to the moon. I think he plays Neil Armstrong.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yep. I have not seen this movie, but it's pretty well received.
And this one cost 60 million and it made 105. So he doesn't have that, like he's not making these movies that make like hundreds of like a big thing yet. Then he does The Gray Man. I don't know that one.
Gray Man struggles. It's a Netflix film, so you're probably not going to find we're already in 2002, so you're not going to find any budget on this. So.
And then finally he does Barbie, which is now it's a huge movie, and he's now big. Right, like that's it. And so now, so I would say he's a big star from what's it called? 2016? Is that what we decided?
Yeah,
La La Land. So 2016 to now, so he's almost been a big star for 10 years.
Agreed. And
he's climbing upwards. He was taking like baby steps a bit, and now he's still going up and up. And if you look at his upcoming movies, which I find weird, right? There's like, look at this one. This is like The Fall Guy, right? I love that show when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm looking at the top cast, and he's the top billing, right? And did you watch the show?
I did. I remember the beginning. I actually as a kid, I got bored after the beginning. So.
Lee Majors. Anyways, he's like, I don't picture him to be the Lee Major. Like, remember his friend Howie? Like Lee Majors had his sidekick. I picture him more like the sidekick guy, right? I don't picture him to be the Lee Majors guy. Like Lee Majors is kind of like, I'm Lee Majors, like I'm a big burly. Like that's the Fall Guy, right?
I think he can pull that.
Yeah, it will be a different version, but it's sort of like a weird. I think it's a weird choice for him to play. I don't know if he is playing that role, but I find that to be a weird choice.
I think he is.
Yeah, I think.
Is there already a trailer on this? No.
Yeah.
No, it's some set photos. It shut down because of the strike.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What do you think? Do you think The Fall Guy will be a hit or a miss?
Oh, I mean, it's based off an existing property, which means I'd say it's probably not a good situation like that. But I don't know. I mean, it was a movie. I mean, a TV show that made sense, and I liked it when I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
So is it good? Like if I watched it when I was like 20, would I have thought it was good, or I just thought it was silly?
Right.
You know, and there was something like, again, you're talking about like the time it came out, like the late 70s, early 80s. It was like, remember, like it was sort of like country music had infiltrated like America. There was like it got big with like the Eagles, and so rock and roll and country kind of became a thing. And I kind of feel like Lee Majors and the Fall Guy was kind of part of that world, right? Because he was like a cowboyish dude. I think he wore a cowboy hat. He drove that Bronco that was cool, and he lived in LA, so he was kind of like, you know, Texas living in Los Angeles. So it was kind of right in that sweet spot of like, oh, we like country and stuff, and let's explore it. Now I don't know. It's like a different world, like, you know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think if you got to make a good movie, it's not going to just do well because he's
the
in it,
name.
and it's a Fall Guy film. But Project Hail Mary looks interesting. If that's a good movie, an astronaut tried to save Earth while alone in outer space. Hit, dud, or never get made. How's that?
It will get made. I think it's with Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who are big guys. So they can. It's probably getting made. Oh no, not yet, but yeah. But at the same time, well, he's playing another astronaut because he played Neil Armstrong.
That's the first time he has played something twice.
Right.
There you go, Ryan Gosling. We're on to you.
We're on to you. All right. So yeah. So 2016 to 2023, he's a big star, and I think he's obviously going to continue on because he's still young, right?
Fairly young. Yeah.
He's 44.
44. Yeah.
Like that's still leading man age.
Yeah. So it depends on his choices and everything else, but he should be able to pick whatever he wants after Barbie.
Yeah, and he does make good choices, it seems, right?
Yeah, definitely from an acting standpoint, he does. Not necessarily from a movie star status. Does he make the best choices? You know, like Harrison Ford or...
Yeah, it's weird. He doesn't have a big, like, I'm Captain America or I'm someone,
right.
You know what I mean? He has that clout, but he's not like, I'm going to be the next big Marvel superhero. Or
well,
whatever, right?
There was rumors around that he may play Ghost Rider. So that's still up for...
I don't really care about that one.
Oh, I do. You wouldn't believe the comic book nerds that love Ghost Rider. Rider. Bum, 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 bum. So, all right.
I find everything like with vehicles gets kind of boring because it's always about like a chase or some stuff. Like, I don't know.
I don't think it's going to focus that much on the motorcycle. I don't think. Maybe. And he might not even be it. So,
all right.
What is your thoughts? What to you, Dan? What is Ryan Gosling? Is he a star, or is he just becoming a star? Was he a star?
He was a star. But 2004, he did that breakup movie, where he became a big star, and then he kind of from what it looked like, worked with a lower budget, worked with a lot of interesting directors, writers, actors, and maybe honed his talent to a higher level. And now he's sort of like. He's got the chops and he's got like the ability, and so it's just a matter of and he seems to pick a movie. So I think he's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. He's going to be almost like a Harrison Ford kind of type guy. I guess not, because he doesn't have that Star Wars in the bank yet at a young age. But he's a big star. You?
Yeah. I think The Notebook made him a star, and then he kind of coasted for a bit and just did some really cool roles. La La Land pushed him up again. And now Barbie pushes him up. You can pretty much every woman in the world, you could say Ryan Gosling. Oh, I know who he is. Right? Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So, well, Dan, there you go. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, where is Ryan Gosling? What is he?
At this point, he's probably the biggest. He could be just because of Barbie. Right now, he's probably one of the top 5 biggest actors. I'd say actors, male actors, right?
Sure.
I think at this moment in time.
So what do you rate him from 1 to 10?
8.
That's what I was going to do, Dan. I was going to do 8. I was going to do 8, and I was going to try to put up an 8, but I did not put up an 8. I don't have an 8. 8. I'd say 8.
8.
If Tom Cruise is a 9 or a 10, Ryan
Tom Cruise
Gosling.
is 10.
Yeah.
Leo's
What is-
a 10. Right?
Right.
Leo DiCaprio's a 10. And so like De Niro now would be to me like a 6.
6. Yeah, 6 or 7.
But
Okay.
didn't, yeah.
Before we finish out, Ryan Gosling, was he an 8 before Barbie, or did Barbie push him into 8?
I think like he was more like a 7, really. Like even though that movie was the one that won an Oscar and he was nominated, was big. I don't feel a lot of people saw that movie or really know it. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It doesn't have the same cachet. A lot of people do know it, but not not everyone.
Not everyone. It's a great movie. Check it out. La La Land. All right. Well, that's it. We determined that Ryan Gosling is a star, and we love him. And he's also a Scorpio, like the three of us. So,
and let's just hope the bot liked our show.
The bot never came.
Oh,
the first time we had 0.
The bot doesn't even want to talk to us.
I know. It's been so long that it's been like 3 weeks. The bot's like, I'm done.
I'm done with these folks.
I'm done with you guys. All right, Dan. Well, thanks. Appreciate it. I'm going to put a little plug in for my guy. We talk about the strange life and death of tragic celebrities and share some information you may be hearing for the first time. dead-celebs.com. What would you consider those breasts? Chiseled? They are chiseled breasts, aren't they?
Chiseled.
So, chiseled breasts. All right, Dan. Well, thank you for taking the afternoon in your beautiful house.
Yes. I would make a suggestion on that audio. I would change the word information to something else.
Oh my God.
It just sounds so dry. I'd make it more salacious.
Salacious.
I would try to
You can do the voiceover for it too.
I don't know about that.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Go clean your 3,000 square foot apartment.
I gotta play the piano. I've got to do piano lessons. All right, Ed.
All right. Have a good one. See ya.
Bye bye.